Good morning, I'm Doug Borden, and welcome to the 2020 Charlestown Library Flower Tour. We have a small water feature here we'll start at, and I'll give you a little story about that here. So this started out to be a small project. I always wanted fish. And so we started out, we did a small project here, and it's really turned into a great concept. For a lot of little kids in the neighborhood, it provides a place for them to come and see the fish and actually feed them. There's also, you'll notice some little rocks they've left as gifts that have fish on them. They're kind of like little gifts for us for sharing this with them. And they come down and they ride their bikes, and their parents often say, wait for us at the little pond, and we'll meet you at the little pond. While they're walking, the little guys are riding their bikes. And then we move up this way. As I said before, we had gone under a big renovation a year ago, so all these gardens were actually torn up. All this was torn up. We had bulldozers in here. We've been back about a year, so it looks pretty good for being just here a year now. And we did a ton of work. A lot of work went into recreating the gardens. We weren't sure what was going to come back, what was going to be here, but they're very forgiving, and certainly they've produced this year. We can walk up this way. These roses were part of the garden that was originally in the front. We took all these roses and all these hydrangeas, and we actually hoed them in over the winter so that the heavy construction could come in and do what they needed to do for their work, and then we replanted them just about a year ago. And they seem to come back again really nicely. This is an interesting plant, Bob. This is called Crocosmia, and it's really beautiful. Hummingbirds love this. So there's a lot of hummingbirds around. They'll come down for this. And it's really brilliant, really a nice color. Adds a pop of everything. It's kind of nice. Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Taking pictures?
Yeah, for the Charlestown garden tour.
Oh, awesome. Well, yours is going to be tough.
Here's another part of the garden here. As you can see here, I get a picture of this. This is a magnolia. This just bloomed this morning. It looks like a teacup sitting there, a big white one. A friend of ours had given us this. It was tiny. It was probably about 8 inches tall about 6 years ago, before they retired and moved to Florida from their garden. And we put that in, and it's done very well here. There's some lilies along here, which we like. This actually, part of the garden is a new extension. The garden used to end probably about here, and so we wanted to extend it and make it look a little nicer down here. So a lot of these plantings were actually in other spots in the yard, and we've replanted those here after the construction. That little tree you see there, that's a variegated dogwood. It's never looked so good. Usually it's not as pink. I'm not sure why that is, but it looks great this year. And then we have the oak leaf hydrangea here. We move that. We also move this hydrangea from the front. This used to be in the front. We moved that. It's done very well this year also. This is a new part of the garden we put in, as I said. The two little girls next door, when we were working the yard, they'd often cut through the bushes here, and they'd come through and say hello to us when we were working in the yard. And so when they started their construction work on their home, that's their old shower door for their outside shower. So what we did was we repurposed it from their dumpster, and we sanded it down and filled the holes and painted it, and we called it the secret garden because now they have a little door to come through and see us all the time. Another neighbor who walks by all the time and gives us many positive compliments, she says she remembers reading to her daughter the story, The Secret Garden. And when her daughter visited recently, she came by, she said, "Thank you for recreating that memory." She said, because I remember as a child being 6 or 7, my mom reading that story to me, which is really nice. We can come actually through here, Bob, through the secret garden. We have many different spots in the yard where we have all different parts of the garden. This actually has been a work in progress. This is where our raised septic system is. We had to hide it somehow because we didn't want it to be ugly, so we made this berm. Did a lot of plantings through here. Over here we have a lot of plantings. Anywhere you see tiger lily in the yard, those came from my family childhood home when I was a kid. My mom planted those in the yard. So about 30 years ago, when I first acquired the property, I brought some down and planted them. So you'll see them all throughout the yard. These urns add actually a nice vertical structure to things. They're big, they're bold, and certainly we have a lot of fun planting them every year. Something different every year we plant them. This is our big koi pond. We got some big guys in here. We've had this probably 15 years. This year we were hit pretty hard by mink in the winter. Sometimes the mink come down, and although we do put a net over it, they probably got about 25 fish. But as you'll see them, they'll probably come up to the front, up to the top. You'll see them swimming by. Lots of wildlife. We have a lot of chipmunks. We have a lot of rabbits. Occasionally we get deer down here, which we don't necessarily want, but we do see them. This is actually where I start my day about 5 a.m. I come out with my first cup of coffee and sit with the fish out here and just feed them. It's kind of a nice way to start my day. And Peter and I made this pond about 15 years ago. So here we have our little shed here, which we keep most of our garden tools in. And as you can see, there's a number of birdhouses on the side. All of them are occupied by little sparrows. There are some other birdhouses throughout the property that are more species specific for wrens and chickadees. But there's lots of little birds around. You'll see them hopping all around, flying all around. And these lilies, believe it or not, we got at the compost pile at the local dump. We found these and we brought them home. We weren't sure what color they were, but somebody had pulled them out. We thought, let's give them a home around our shed, and they certainly have brought some beauty to our shed. This is our pergola here, Bob. It's another kind of extension of our yard and another way for us to add to it through our flowers. Peter's family as a kid used to own a florist in Cumberland, Dandurand florist. So they used to have 3 shops. So he has a real good knack with flowers and putting things together from a design point of view. So certainly from our plantings up there, you'll see our pots. They're always unique and a little different. You're certainly welcome to come up, and it gives you another vantage point. Some is tropical looking, some is ferns, the canna. Certainly adds another element. And then of course the mandevilla in the baskets. It's a great view, beautiful, and this provides some shade for us also in the summer, so it's when it's not so hot up on the decks. We do, I don't know if you can see over in the tree, we have many plants that we actually put on the tree every year. We bring them out, we put them, attach them to the side of the tree, and then we bring them back in the fall, and they all flower for us. They're orchids. Some of them are Dandurand. We put them out here. And then we just bring them back in the house in the fall, and they always flower for us really nicely. This vine that's growing here, Bob, this is a trumpet vine, an orange trumpet vine. That will be coming shortly, probably another 2-3 weeks. That'll be filled with all orange trumpets. Hummingbirds love that. Here are some more lilies, some more smaller hydrangea. We had a lot of foxglove this year. Originally we had planted in the back, and I think it probably got planted here by chipmunks, carrying seeds throughout the yard. They're just about going by. They're kind of helping us plant. Again, we have the roses here. We have some more lilies here coming up. We have the black-eyed Susans. And all of those in the front are all knockout roses. About 2 weeks ago, it was just a hedge of all red. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But they'll come back. They bloom on now until October, so they'll all come back. We have some different pots around the house again. Like to mix it up a little. Here's another pot that we do. Put a lot of canna into it, some mandevilla, and some white petunias. And of course my chickens, because we live where there are a number of coyotes and other wild animals. We're often fearful that if I had real chickens, they wouldn't last long. Here is a succulent dish that Peter did. He put this together. So it's all succulents. And this seems to be doing really well out here. We'll move that into the house once the cooler weather gets here. This is another piece. I put this together. This is another big pot we did. Again, it's got some canna in it. It's got the coleus in it. It's got the white petunias, geriliads. Adds a lot to it, just different textures and colors. And then if you want to come up on top, it gives you a whole different vantage point of the gardens, which is kind of interesting. We did many different flowers in these pots. These are cosmos. They're kind of really very thin and light passes through them. Gives you a nice color to them. This gives you a total different perspective of the yard. It's another vantage point, another way we get to enjoy our gardens from up here. You'll see over on this side we have the rose. There's more roses on this side. And a beautiful view. And then in the front here, Bob, you get great views of the water in the front gardens, which we'd seen earlier. And there's Nittigrit Pond at its best. It's a nice place to wake up every morning. Well, thank you for coming and spending time with us today. We certainly enjoy doing this for the library. We always think it's a great fundraiser, and we always look forward to doing it and sharing things with people. So if anybody has any questions, maybe at some point we can get them, come by and explain stuff to them. Thank you, Bob, for coming out today.